Who's messaging me? Just checking to make sure I got everything in order. Let's take that back to the beginning. Okay, so wow, why do I feel like I just like got shorter? Let me just go ahead and make this adjustment, darling. There we go. Yes. Beautiful. So we're gonna be doing a Leo season, Aquarius full moon reading. It's intuitive, but I'm also using cards. And when I think of Aquarius, I think of the water bearer, but I also think of the ripple that the water falling down creates as it falls into the ocean. But then you also have to think of the steam that is created when water hits heat. Gas. And Aquarius is an air sign. And also the lightning bolt, electricity. If you look at the glyph for Aquarius, it looks like a lightning bolt or two that are just turned on its side. Electrifying, energizing, all of those things. Let me check my volume. My finger's in the way. Okay. So yeah, electrifying Aquarius, energizing Leo. The ripple effect that the water makes when the drop hits the water. But also, I feel like Aquarius is like an angel up there, bringing the water down, it being the sort of mediator, but like on a higher level. I don't know. Aquarius is kind of like a gift from the universe. But then again, it is the third air sign after Libra. Libra and Aquarius have a very rich connection just because Uranus is the esoteric ruler of Libra. And when you think about it, Libra is talking about balance, and it's also talking about unexpected things, shock waves, the ripple effect, waves, water, rippling. So I'm going to use the Archangel Power Tarot cards because that's what was here. All Doreen Virtue here today. And you know, Leo rules romance. And Taurus is very much into sensuality, and so is Leo as well. And they're all fixed. The Romance Angels by Doreen Virtue. I'll be using those too. Honey bunny. These have seen a thing or two. Or maybe I'm just really rough with romance. I don't think so. I think I'm very elegant, eloquent. With that, I like romance, honey. Talking to a Libra sun and Libra rising here. The Astrologer's Handbook. I just got the hardback version because my friend let me have the paperback, and I was just like, you know what? I carry that paperback around. It has seen a thing or two. I need to get the hardback. It's by Francis Sakoyan and Louis S. Acker. It was $10.95 in 1973, 1975, 1973 was the copyright date. And in this book, I actually found the owner, the previous owner, they put their dad's placements in the book. Isn't that crazy? So it's just very interesting to look at that. I'm sure I could look back and see what year it was or what span of time Pluto was in Gemini. I don't know. I love the song. So we're listening to Kurangden. Hopefully it's not interfering too much with my voice. The actual hardback cover of this book looks as such. And I think I'm going to read some of it for us today. This reading, hopefully it's not too long for some of you. Hopefully you're not thinking that like it's too, whatever. Okay, so let's look at Moon and Aquarius, shall we? Because that's what we're about to experience here. And that's it being in the 11th house. Okay, so here we go. Moon in Aquarius. The moon in the sign Aquarius indicates a capacity to sympathize with the needs of humanity. Occasionally, there are flashes of intuitive knowledge. Persons with this position are friendly to all, in an impersonal way. They seek freedom of emotional expression and demand freedom to come and go as they please within the domestic situation. Thus, they are likely to have unusual family relationships. Their homes are gathering places for friends and group activities. The negative aspect of this position can give a tendency to emotional perversity and stubbornness, or an irrational need for freedom at all costs. There can also be fear of personal emotional involvements because of the threat they pose to personal freedom. So if you get too close, then it's almost kind of like you do realize and you do foresee that it's going to only make you desire freedom in some way, shape, or form. Now let's look at Moon in the 11th house, which corresponds to Moon in Aquarius. The moon in this house gives a powerful emotional need for friendships and group activities. There can be many acquaintances, but not necessarily of lasting or meaningful nature. So it's quick, it's connections that take place, but it's connections that don't necessarily have to be meaningful, but powerful. Okay? Uranus is exalted in Scorpio. The natives' hopes, objectives, and motivations fluctuate with their moods, right? So the moods are changing. So what I need and what I'm thinking about changes with whatever I'm being, affected by, right? They can have numerous friendships with women because it's moon in the sign of friendship. Their homes are often used as places for group activity. Many friendships are made through family associations. The emotional state is influenced by the opinions and reactions of the friends. Sorry, there's a period there. These people do not like to be alone. They need companionship for their emotional well-being, as a lot of us are starting to realize now that we're further into the pandemic. However, at times, they have to be alone to stabilize their feelings, which is very the star card. All right, well, I'm just going to go there with it. I'm not going to give too much of the sun because we know what the sun in Leo is talking about, or do we need to know, honey? I'll put in the description when the reading starts, but I'm reading right now. I was trying to put on classical music and I was like, that just doesn't seem like what we're dealing with Aquarius energy. Or Leo even. I feel like this was a good beat. A good tempo. So the sun is actually in the fifth house, where its rulership is. Sun in the fifth house. This position of the sun gives a love of life and a powerful will towards creative self-expression. The natives seek pleasure and want to be noticed and appreciated. They are highly competitive, with an inclination towards sports, music, theater, and other artistic pursuits. What's going on in the sports world right now? Lots of things going on in music. Theater is hard. Yeah, I would say so. But we're thinking of innovative ways to be presented with those types of things. They project themselves in the most dramatic way possible, searching for pleasure and romance with others. They have sunny, happy dispositions and attract many friends. However, at times they seem to be naively childish and egocentric. Less developed types may lack maturity and subtlety. Their behavior may be blatant and overly theatrical, like that of a prima donna. These natives often take large risks because of their almost blind self-confidence. They love children and are actively interested in their development and education. However, if the sun is one of the fire signs, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, they may have few children of their own or none at all. And if these people have children, how closely connected are they, really? Natives with this sun position are ardent lovers. When they are involved in a love affair, it can be all-consuming for those of you out there who are involved in love affairs, real ones. Nonetheless, they are capable of being loyal to one person in their love expression. But if the sun happens to be in Taurus or Scorpio, there can be possessiveness and jealousy. I believe that that is where I want to go with that. You know, in this book, it doesn't necessarily give a sun in the sign, because the sun in that sign would really be the sun in those houses, because the sun is exalted in the first house of Aries. So, you know, let's see. I don't think it really gives that. Yeah. It does give the houses, and this is the fifth house. Creative expression represents the next stage in an individual's development. Once there is a self to act, the first house, resources to use, the second house, a mind to control the use of these resources, the third house, and a base of operations, the fourth house, the native is ready for creative self-expression and mental and physical procreation. The fifth house rules the children of the mind and body and has to do with all the creative arts, especially the performing arts, along with love affairs, pleasures, and places of amusement. Parties, social entertainment, and gambling, including stock market speculations, right? It also pertains to children and matters connected with their upbringing and early education, teaching, sports, and all functions, whether social or otherwise, where one seeks creative self-expression and social popularity. Since creativity requires a steady application of the will, it is natural that Leo, a fixed creative fire sign ruled by the sun, corresponds to the fifth house. Here, the dynamic powers of the self are expressed through the power of the sun to create and dramatize by means of love. The individual is filled with the joy of living and reaches out to the same flow of life in the loved one. Out of this union, new progeny are born, and life finds its fulfillment. Thus, the fifth house is a place of power, where the universal life force of creative power of the sun, working through the individual selfhood of the native, finds outlet. In the fifth house, man has the opportunity to become co-creator with God. Even in life's challenges, and even if life is challenging. And that was set at 16 minutes. So at 16 minutes, we're gonna say that the reading with the cards starts. The cards start. Honey, is someone having like a flat tire? Is someone running out of gas? Make sure that you're checking that. Make sure that you're also checking your light. Make sure that your car is running properly, right? Because 16 minutes is actually a 7, and that talks about movement forward from stagnation and also from being stuck. But the 7s also rule travel and vehicular things, because the chariot is number 7. And the chariot is like kind of almost like the first man-made vehicle. Pulled by animals. Pulled by strength. Right? So something is taking some effort, it seems, to push past uncertainty. I'm just channeling there. I need to change this station. Okay. Sorry, guys. And girls. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this deck, and then I'm going to place it back together, and then I'm going to change my music. Okay. Now that we're here, I'm going to go ahead and lay the cards out. You know, just a little SMH. For those of you that don't know what that means, it's shaking my head. It's late. I had a lot of readings today. And I'm just doing these to get myself ready for August. And I have some personal birth chart readings to do and some personal readings to get to. So, you know, that said, if you book a reading with me, just know that it's going to be about, you know, less than a week, but within a week, you'll be getting that reading. Sometimes it happens quickly. Sometimes it's not as quick, just because, like, I have a lot of readings that I do off of the channel and off of, like, my own personal readings, just because I'm Shanti. And if you're in New York City, you can get a reading with me in person there. It is 230 East 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenues. Get some crystals, get some books, get some healing tools, you know, whatever it is that you need to kind of connect with or get. Yeah, you can do that. I just realized that I didn't have something on me. And it's weird that it's not on me. But you know, everything can actually be replaced. And I'm not freaking out about it. Okay, anyway, center of the reading, 9 of Ariel. The 9 of Ariel is the 9 of Pentacles, and this is Venus in Virgo. Venus in Virgo is detached from that which might be holding them back as a way or a means to, like, please others, right? So it's kind of like not about pleasing others. It's about looking at the details of of what it is that you are trying to accomplish, right? What does it mean to accomplish what you set out to do? You know, because it's talking about your foundations, and it's talking about meaningful foundations and established foundations, right? So establishment, what is being established here? The nines are saying that something is being revealed to you. So through your hard work and through your effort, things are being revealed to you. It's being shown to you that like you can make it to the next step, right? It's about perseverance as well. You know, so the nine of Ariel definitely speaks about that and health, right? So you're realizing that there are some things that need to be done. There are certain goals that you are hoping to achieve health wise. Some of you might even want to change your eating habits. Like some of you might want to be you know, vegetarian or a vegan or something like that. I feel like some of you are really trying to make a goal or set a goal to just be healthier in many different aspects, many different ways. What you seek. You know, it's like making better choices, making healthier choices, and, you know, inspiring yourself to do better, right? Um, it's also saying that there's something being revealed to you, something being shown to you that you haven't seen before, like something matters to you more now, or something, you know, like that. Um, it does also talk about being able to face your fears on your own, like what you're able to manifest, right? You don't need anyone else to validate you with this nine of Ariel, because it is Virgo and it is taking a critical view of something, diagnostic, right? That type of thing. Some of you are afraid of getting something checked. So get it checked, whatever it is. Or some of you are just afraid to go in for a routine, you know? Um, Anyway, the Nine of Pentacles says your dreams are fulfilled. Hard work leads to great success. A love for beautiful things in life, right? So it really is talking about the emotional connection that you have with things that matter too, right? Animals are one part of that, and just kind of like the compassion that you have towards, you know, nature, right? Because Virgo is very much like a natural energy. I don't know. It is. Let's see what this is here. This is the Justice card, which is number 8, and that corresponds with, you know, usually Leo, because the Strength card is number 8 usually, but this is Libra, and it corresponds to the 8th house, which is Scorpio, and it does talk about intimate relationships and balance being restored in some kind of way to your intimate relationships. It doesn't mean that it's going to go back to the way that it used to be, because it's an 8, so it is talking about transformation, and it is talking about power, right? Even if this was an 11, I would say that that would reduce to a 2, and it would be related to the Judgment card, which is also a card of power. So this is like the power of choice, you know what I mean? And, you know, using your intellect as a means to get what you want, right? Being smart about what it is that you are allowing yourself to think. I don't know why I'm saying that. But it's like, what are you pursuing? What are your desires? Like, we're no longer just going after things because we have an impulse to do it. It's like, does it mean anything? Is it taking us somewhere? You know, are we learning anything? Are we getting anything out of the scenario? And it's not just about material gains, it's spiritual gains too. It's like, what have I learned that has transformed me or that has changed me forever? What is the karma here? You know? And that's why the Nine of Ariel is talking about beautiful, right? Hard work that's happened. It says, fight for justice and equality. Rulings made in your favor. Don't give up. You know, the Justice card might even be talking about some legal battles that some of you might be going through. Or it could also just be talking about some things that you fear in terms of finance, taking care of like some bills or something like that, you know? Or maybe getting something back. Maybe there's getting a refund, or maybe it's like refinancing something. Maybe it's like, you know, something like that. Taxes. Okay? The 8th house rules that. Anyway, in the past, we're dealing with some heartbreak and we're dealing with some disappointment with the 5 of Cups. It could have to do with like you disappointing yourself, right? It could have to do with people that you care about, that you have intimate relationships with, right? Because Scorpio is the 8th house, and this Justice card here, which is Libra, does have number 8 on it for this deck. So we're dealing with intimate relationships. We're dealing with the power of change, right? And we're dealing with staying encouraged and staying motivated, even within the challenges and the struggles of trying to maintain balance, right? Okay. And this talks about, you know, the severity of the feeling, you know, how the sting, right? But you know, this card says everything happens for a reason. Release regret and embrace the opportunities for happiness. Search for the silver lining, right? So it's saying like if you can't change what has happened, that has definitely changed things forever or for good in some kind of way, your level of consciousness about something is transforming. It's changing. You know, and it doesn't matter that it's difficult. It doesn't matter that it's hard because that's the way that it was meant to be with the 5s. Because the 5s are talking about, you know, being a co-creator with God, right? Because this is Taurus, which is talking about your consciousness and your inner ear, right? And then the 5th house is Leo, which the 5th house does speak about being a co-creator with God. So sometimes, you know, in order to find strength and in order to seek faith and in order to be a faithful person, you have to experience things that are challenging for you, that allow you to see the light and the shadow, right? Because it's like with the shadow that you find the light, you know? You've got to have both of them. Love and marriage. You know, it's like that Married with Children song. But the 5s, this is Mars and Scorpio. So this is destroying a commitment, or this is like an institution or something that you have relied upon to give you the same results every time, right? Something that you were fixed on, an emotion, something that you thought would never change, has. And you yourself are changing. You're not emotionally fulfilled in the same ways anymore. Okay? Some of you, your job may not be emotionally fulfilling you. Some of you, your partner may not be emotionally fulfilling you. Some of your friends may not be emotionally fulfilling you. You may even feel emotionally abandoned in some kind of way, shape, or form. There's some emotional trauma here. And you're kind of maybe asking yourself, why is this happening? You know, and sometimes the 5s don't say ask why, but how can you change it? Right? How can you change this situation? But this is in the past. Okay, so this is in the past for us, right? But in the present, we have the 9 of Pentacles and the Justice card, which is good. So that strength did come. We might still be ignoring some things, but you know, there's always work to be done, right? We don't necessarily say one day, oh goodness, I did all the work and now I don't ever have to do any more. No, you're always gonna have to do work. We all are. Sorry if there's a dog barking. I'm not mad at him. Maybe he needs something. Or she, or they. So the 2 of Gabriel came up, and you know, this is talking about making plans to change things, taking risks. You know what I mean? What risks are you willing to take? Because it is in the Sun position. And this is Mars in Aries, and that's where Mars is right now. And it's in the Sun position. And you know, the Sun is exalted in Aries, but it rules Leo. So this is kind of like facing the fears, taking the risk, setting out, you know, as an individual right now, with it being Mars and the Sun. Because Mars and Sun is really much about the individual experience, You know, it's saying make bold, ambitious choices. Great progress is possible. Important relationships with people who share your vision, you know? So I had to turn it down a little bit. But you know, it is saying that, you know, in order to see changes come about in your life, you're going to have to be willing to take risks, and you're going to be bold, and you're going to have to um, seek seek out all possibilities, right? And like I said, things change. And so you have to embrace change, and you have to be willing to use change as a resource, right? To help you get to where you're going or where you want to go, right? So let's look at your moon position. King of Michael, it's Aquarius for us, everyone. So we're mastering our thoughts and our perceptions, and we're changing who we are based on what we've learned and what we've mastered. Okay, because we're trying to see a bigger picture here, right? And it is talking about wisdom that we've cultivated, right? Or wisdom that we've attained, right? We're principled, we're rational, we're ambitious, and we're respected. Okay? But it's also just kind of like staying optimistic, you know, being light minded, realize that we do have the power and the ability to change. So why wouldn't we do that? You know, some things maybe have gotten old. You know, it was time to take a break from the things that we just kind of like were getting more of the same. Maybe you were getting some of the same results with things. And you were just kind of like, I need to change it really. You know, maybe some things we got too comfortable. We got too set in the ways, right? We got too comfortable with friends. We got too comfortable with family in some kind of ways, right? How have you gotten too comfortable? Because it could be like a positive thing, right? Where you got too comfortable and things sort of like changed for you. There was a challenge that occurred, right, that made you see that I did get too comfortable, right? But then it's also like I had expectations that might have been unrealistic as well, because the King of Michael is related to the Four of Swords, and it's also related to the Emperor. And the Emperor usually has high expectations. And here we have Mars and Aries, right? And that's the Emperor energy right there. So we're talking about, you know, powerful change, powerful insight. Yeah, powerful knowledge too. It says a situation that calls for honest and open communication, right? So that's how you master your communication skills, is that you're always able to flow with that energy of communication, inspiration, being open to the fact that information can change too. People's truths can change, right, for themselves. They don't have to get stuck on one thing, you know? And you can accomplish many different things in your life. You don't have to just be one thing, or you don't have to just try to achieve success at one thing. Or that one thing that you already experienced some level of success at, maybe it's time to try to find ways to achieve more by doing other things, you know, with this King of Michael energy. And in the anxieties, which is related to the King of Michael, we have the King of Raphael. And this is talking about the emotional attachments that you have to things, right? These are also people. The King of Michael could be somebody that it's like difficult to change their mind. They might have their mind set on something, you know? You might have your mind set on something, and the anxieties are like the ripple effect, right? So we have the King of Michael and the King of what is this? Of Raphael. This is fixed air and fixed water. So we're not changing our minds about the way that we think about something, or our opinion isn't changing about something, and the anxiety, or the hope and the fear is that like our feelings aren't changing either. So someone's feelings haven't changed, or someone's feelings aren't changing yet, or maybe they have come to this place of saying like, I know what I feel now, and that is it. Somebody's being definitive about their opinion, or about the direction that they're setting out to go in now, right? Someone has made a very definitive choice. But this is also like detaching from something, spending some time alone, um, recovering, recluse, uh, redefinition, refining something. So some of us are refining an idea, a creative idea perhaps, but then also we are healing, right, from something. We're hoping that we can heal from something. We're hoping that something won't have the emotional pull that it's had on us before or in the past. Because the King of Cups, the King of Raphael, does have a lot to do with the past experiences that have made it fixed on the feeling or on the emotion, right? Thinking that some things will never change. Some of you might be thinking that some people might never change, right? With the King of Michael and the King of Raphael here. And the King of Raphael is Scorpio. So it could have been something that was, done, or something that was said, or something that was being made to feel some sort of, can be very warm. They can be very, almost not uncomfortably warm, but it's almost like the connection is so like that it's almost like, I don't know. Some of you might even be feeling like there's like danger looming with somebody that you're like involved with, and you're like kind of like expecting the worst or something. I don't know why that's coming up. Oh, but the card says, yes, it is safe to trust. The ability to accomplish many things at once. Follow your creative passions. So if there's something, mastering your emotions and mastering your creativity are almost kind of like very intertwined. So in order for you to master your emotions, you're going to have to be able to deal with the onslaught of emotional waves, arrows, feelings, triggers, the onslaught of emotional triggers that come your way, right? So you have to let them come in and go out just like you would if you were meditating, right? And you have to always also realize that your feelings are just, a program that you were born a part of that kind of help you get through life's challenges. And sometimes this program is going to make you learn some things that you don't want to learn. And it's just because like they're emotionally challenging, right? And sometimes we ask ourselves, why do we have to go through this? Why does it have to be this way? And it's just because that's kind of like the karma of it all. But don't get emotionally complacent and think that the next person that you get involved with is going to be the exact same way as the person before. But you have to give yourself emotional space and time. And you have to give yourself psychological space and time, right? All of the kings, all of the fours are talking about individual desires and needs, wants, needs, and desires. So knowing what your individual wants, needs, and desires are going to bring you closer to what was meant for you, what was destined for you, what was karmically driven, right? Some of you need to take ginkgo or ginkogen, whatever that is. The Ten of Michael. The Ten of Michael is talking about completion, and it's in the Mars position, and it's Sun in Gemini, okay? And it's a 10. So being that it's a 10, we're related to the 10th house of Capricorn, right? And challenges and difficulties. So yeah, it has been a long road. There are a lot of memories. There are a lot of psychological triggers, but you've done so much work that you're able to deal with the triggers and they lessen a little bit, right? And this is like the culmination. This is very much the Aquarius full moon type of energy, right? And you've got King of Michael, which is Aquarius in the moon position. Yay, we do, I guess, because it's collective, right? So there are some situations that have ended for some of us that we need to allow. It's like when the show is over, the curtain closes and the crowd goes home. No one is still trying to like force any more information or force the connection to continue to go on longer, or it's almost kind of like there's a need to rest too now that something is over. So maybe you need some time to rest, to kind of like recover, right? And this King of Michael is related to the Four of Swords, which you all know is usually a person in a tomb recovering, gaining their strength again. And that's Jupiter in Libra, okay? And Libra came up here as the immediate influence, and it's an 8 in this deck. So it is talking about strength, regaining your strength, your mental strength, your emotional strength, right? And I say mental, but also like psychological too. Because we navigate through our through our minds. And our brains are so complex and we have so many memories and we've experienced so many things, and that there's always something to refer back to that is going to be able to trigger something inside of us. So you're always having to process, and that's okay. But we start to learn how to do it when we become masters of how to kind of like let things slide, be detached, right? Because when the show's over, this person is like, it's over, I'm going home. I know that's what it is, right? It is what it is. I dance for an hour and a half and then I go home. Like, why am I trying to like, what is it? There's nothing to make of it anymore, right? That's the feeling of that. But I feel like, it's over. And if like this person had a bad performance, hey, the next one will be better, right? Stay inspired. Keep your head up, even though their head is down, right? It's so funny that this card comes up because like this literally was my life. It kind of like still is, right? I started off in ballet. Actually, no, I was a classical musician and then I turned to ballet in my art school. So it's so crazy, right? How life changes. And how you realize that, oh, it's time for this phase of my life to happen because like, yeah, damn, I want to experience something new. And who am I to rob myself of an experience that could change my life, that could influence me in a positive way, that I could experience some kind of reciprocity from, right? That could show me some part of myself that was hidden from me all this time, right? With the 9 of Ariel being here related to the moon, which is number 18, that reduces to a 9. Also related to the Hermit, which is Virgo. Esoterically, Virgo is ruled by the moon. Just saying, all this time, it's time for us to like have different experiences. And this is Sun in Gemini. So let's be inspired. Let's be motivated to have new ideas, right? Flirting with happiness, not flirting with danger. All right, so let's look at what's going on. I guess I should read this card. A situation has ended and you are finally free. New opportunities for happiness will now follow. Put the past behind you. So this could be with jobs for some of you guys, careers, maybe something that you kind of like just didn't want to do anymore. All right, now we got Six of Raphael here, which is Sun and Scorpio, which is going back to this King of Raphael here and the Five of Raphael. But it's good because in the past we had the Five of Raphael, which was the emotional conflict and the severity of how the sting, you know, and maybe even the swelling, honey. But now we have a six, which is saying that we are actually receiving information for what this was all for or how it actually helped us. Because we noticed that we got too comfortable and we realized that we have to transform our patterns if we want to see our lives change, changing the narrative, right? Especially with that 10 of Michael being there, right? But then also the 6 of Raphael is what are we creating that's going to bring us more emotional, I don't know, satisfaction. Because the water cards are about satisfaction because it's cups and it's things going inside. But it's like when you give, you receive, And it's also kind of like forgiving things from the past, being kind to yourself about, things that you may not be proud of, right? Um, you know, just being able to ebb and flow with your emotions too. And you have to also realize that no one is perfect, right? And our emotions actually show us that we're not. Because they're challenging. And we all have them. And no one wants to be unemotional, right? And it's the emotional intelligence that helps you deal with the emotions and the emotional maturity, right? So it's a coming of age with this here. Very much coming of age, honey. Very much a ripple effect, honey. Right? Your emotional experiences have a ripple effect for the rest of your life until that ripple just becomes a little bit less. So let's look at what's going on in the future placements. I didn't look at the card that's at the bottom of the deck, but let's do that last because I know some people do that. I usually do it first, but... Outcome, energy moving forward. 2 of Ariel, Jupiter and Capricorn. So that's where Jupiter is right now. So it's bringing some exposure to things that we need to work on, and it's challenging, and we're also taking risks, right? We're having to do more with a little, right? We're having to really focus on what's important and what really matters in this moment. We can't be afraid of our responsibilities, our financial responsibilities, because we have financial abilities, right? Responsibilities, abilities. We have the ability to respond to those things that make us feel challenged by life's unfairness. Yeah, so what? Life is unfair. Right? But you can be fair to yourself as much as you can be. So don't make it more difficult for yourself than you have to. But that takes work too, because you're going to have a baby that lives inside of you that is your emotions, right? Look at the Empress card. She's a 3. She's pregnant. There's something inside of her growing, but the Empress is always pregnant every time we look at her. So the inner child is always going to be there, and it's always going to need some attention. It's always going to need direction. It's always going to need reassurance of safety, of comfort and security. So it's like you have to be willing to have the guts to do the things that scare you. And sometimes this has to do with purchasing a home for some of you out there. Because it's a two swords related to the second house, and it's Capricorn, right? And Capricorn is talking about building, stability, constructing something, time, lasting, right? And it's a two, which is talking about having things, right? Capricorn is status, Taurus is status, okay? And the fact that it is Venus, is it? Two of Pentacles, I'm sorry. The fact that it is Jupiter in Capricorn is saying that it's actually in its fall, right? So it's like you're not getting the most out of something. You're having to do a lot of work to get a lot done, or to get a little bit done, right? So you might even be like anticipating or fearing that a situation is more than it actually is, right? You could be intimidating yourself because you're just kind of like, you're taking it there, right? It's important to have balance, working multiple jobs, okay, or projects at once, making work fun. So make the work fun. Even if it's something that you're like, damn, I have to like really be responsible. I'm doing it too. If you're putting something off, if you're trying to escape it by putting it off and buying yourself time, don't do it. Get it done. Okay. Oh, he said, all right. It's for me too. But the two of Ario, for sure. Jupiter and Capricorn. Growth of responsibilities, right? Also, big ideas, wanting to go far, right? And some of you come from modest means, right? And you're trying to do a lot. And sometimes it's challenging to feel like, you know, life has cheated you because it doesn't get you closer to your goals or as quickly as some people might experience it, or when they did, or when you didn't or did, you know? So it's like the twos are also talking about comparisons. Don't compare your experience and your growth and how life is challenging you karmically to how someone else is being challenged. You don't know. Aquarius. So let's go ahead and look at what the future card is here. King of Gabriel, which is Leo. Honey bunny, all of the fixed kings are here except for Taurus. And you better believe that when that full moon is going on in Aquarius and the sun is in Leo, that's gonna do something for Scorpio here with the King of Cups, King of Raphael, and it's gonna do something for Aquarius, right? And Taurus too, but we don't have him. We don't have Taurus here in the reading, but we have the energy of Taurus here through the twos. And also, this is a two related to the second house of Taurus, and it's a pentacle. Concerned with what you have. You do well with that, with the little that you do have, you know, and it's just managing things very well, right? Move slowly, right? Take your time. You know, try not to bite off more than you can chew, and try not to spend more money than you have. Make sure you're staying balanced because you're doing really well. Whoa. Just don't make any sudden movements. Don't do anything crazy. Okay? You know what I mean? And I mean, like, you know what you might be thinking of doing that might be crazy. And if you're not thinking of doing anything crazy, then that's great. You know, you don't want to do something on impulse and then regret that because there might be some consequences rather than rewards. Page of Ariel. Wasn't Taurus, but it's an Earth card. So you have 3 Earth cards, 2 Fire cards, 3 Water cards, 2 Air cards. 32, 32. Or 5, 5. And then you also have, you're in the center, and the Justice card is literally the only major arcana we have. So it's talking about relationships. It's talking about the power of relationships. And it's also talking about not using too much force, right? We're looking for peace, right? But we're also fighting for justice and defending something. We're defending freedom. We're defending our freedom to choose what we desire and what we are pursuing in life. There are highs and lows, there are ups and downs, there are wins and losses. But, you know, you always get your opportunity. You always get another chance, right? The Page of Ariel is talking about something coming in, meaningful, an announcement that comes in. And it could come in the form of a situation that improves, or it could come in the form of like you learning your lesson with something and actually achieving something, right? That you didn't think that you could achieve. So it's an announcement. It's introducing something new into your reality that wasn't there before, that matters and has meaning and connects with other things in your life, right? With your consistency. You know, this could even just be like your credit score improving and finding out about that. This could be you paying off that credit card. This could be you paying off that bill. This could be you getting that job, right? Getting a promotion, okay? Yes. More responsibility at work, definitely, it could be that. It does say reliable, clever, educated, and balanced. So it's talking about how you might be appearing to if you have an interview or something like that. It says an excellent opportunity will be offered to you. Scholarships or the pursuit of education. Time to get to work. So yeah, the pages are all talking about announcements, and announcements introduce something which bring about an opportunity to like decide to make a move or to experience something new. Let's look at what's at the bottom of the deck. Didn't I say experience something new? Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. Wow. Talks about manifesting the life that you want. I almost said Manny Fresh. Oh my gosh. If anybody knows who that is. I'm from Atlanta. But this says you can manifest the life you want. What you need will magically appear. Successful beginnings. This is the power of self-realization, self-actualization, power of potential, capabilities. What makes you special? What makes you different? What do you have up your sleeve that people haven't noticed? Because it's things that people haven't noticed, right? Because they could be predicting what you're going to do or what they might think, but it may not be exactly what they might be predicting or what they might think. This is saying stay flexible in your mind and stay flexible in what you think that you can do. Right now, Mars is in the first house, which is where it likes to be. But Mercury, which is in Cancer right now, esoterically, Mercury rules Aries because it's about the ideas and it's the initiation and it's about like being inspired and the light turning on, you know, spirit, right? And with Aries being the first sign, there's spirit right there. It has to be, you know. But this is showing off in some kind of way. So show off your best talents. What are your resources? What do you have to use? What do you have to lose? Right? Initiate, elevate, speculate, okay? All of that. Communicate. You know I had to throw another one in there. Mercury is communication. So if you have something to say it. You know? And if you have some new ideas, try to express those or try to get them jumped off, right? Mercury is also talking about opportunities, right? Not like, you know, little opportunities, small opportunities, right? That could lead to larger ones. But it's also like maybe there's a new business venture because Mercury is talking about commerce. I like it. It's fresh. It's clean. It is new. And it's powerful. It is inspired. And it's transformative. Change. The ripple effect, right? Very Ripley's Believe It or Not. It's Mercury, the mind. Believe it or not. So you gotta believe. Gavel. Ooh, let me pull some of these. I'm gonna do one from each, okay? Because I don't know if I can continue. It's an hour, but you know the reading did start at 16 minutes before I did some reading from the Astrologer's Handbook, okay? Just for those of you who are just tuning in. Release your ex very soon. If you haven't let them go. Honeymoon and calling you your soulmate were like reversed. So maybe it was not the honeymoon that you thought it was going to be, honey. Ciao. I don't know. Let's see. Express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture for some of you, whatever that means. You know, I don't really do that love stuff. I do, because, you know, I'm a Libra, I love love. All is well, moon cycles. Notice how the moon affects your energy and manifestations and capitalize on these cycles. Capitalization, honey. The first letter is usually capitalized. Right? All is well. Everything is exactly as it is supposed to be. So you have to also trust that the universe does have your back. Little plug there. With hidden blessings, you will soon understand. Life does have hidden blessings. And that 9 of Ariel, that 9 of Pentacles, does talk about hidden blessings. Because when you do the work, you get rewarded. And when you go after your dreams and your goals, you experience things change for you, right? Don't get stuck in what isn't happening for you or how people might have prevented things from happening for you. Spread your wings, okay? Do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you are ready to soar. Relationship harmony. We angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Aquarius and Leo rules the heart. Arguments and conflicts are now being resolved. Okay. Jupiter is about to come into conjunction with Capricorn, or Jupiter is about to come into conjunction with Saturn. And that is talking about powerful change in government and systems. And powerful change comes from events. But it's saying all is well. People are going to realize. Take back your power. Use your God-given power and intention to manifest the blessings in your life. Okay? Nurture. As you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child. Didn't I talk about that with the Empress? Both activities are important right now. There's that inner child. I like to read the cards that actually become face up when I split it to like shuffle, because it's like, you know, they're there. 3 stacks. Prioritize. Focus on your highest priorities. I will help you get organized and motivated. Again, the Magician. I actually picked up 2. Angel therapy. Give your cares and worries to us angels and allow us to take your burdens. Let's see. Patience. After that, your dreams are blooming more rapidly than you realize. Still, they need nurturing and patience, which goes back to this 2 of Ariel, which is like, whoa, things are growing and I have dreams and wishes and I want things to be revealed to me and I'm willing to take the risk and I have a desire, I have a need to feel like I am someone and I am doing something, because Capricorn is talking about accomplishment and success, right? And you're like, I want it to be whatever, but it's like, take your time, honey. You're cultivating. Remember who you are in the meantime. You are powerful. Oh, you are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You are very loved. Okay? Even if you think that somebody doesn't love you, then what does it matter if that, like, who is, well, like, why are you thinking about that person that doesn't love you, child? I ain't forcing nobody to love me. You either do or you don't. But you gotta love yourself, right? Isn't that what Paul says? If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen? Right? Isn't that it? Thanks, everyone. And it is about self-love. And it is about respecting yourself, right? Because when you respect yourself, other people will respect you too, right? Because it's about like the heart, right? When people see your true heart, then they know the world, right? Completion, Saturn. And I know how I want to be seen. And how I want to be seen has been pretty much how I knew I had to be in life. When I was younger, I was like, I don't know, maybe it was spirit talking, maybe it was like that type of thing. It's like, be nice to people or be kind, right? Be kind and loving no matter what, that type of thing. But there's challenges that come with that, because like, I'm a person and I'm not perfect. So even though I'm going to be loving and I'm going to be kind, I still experience conflict, right? I still experience weakness. I still experience fear. I still experience resentment. I still experience, you know, like feeling like, I don't know if well, you have to experience jealousy at some point, right? Because if you feel bad about something that you might see someone else being happy about in their life that you don't have, it's not like you want to take it from them. It's just kind of like maybe wanting that. That's more of a 12th house, like Pisces type of situation, right? Feeling left out. So, you know what I mean? It's different. But, you know, that type of stuff, all of that It's all kind of like in the same umbrella. You know, you don't want to be disappointed by what life handed you. You want to feel like, you know, this is the life that I was given. And you can either, you know, you have your own free will. And that's what this last card that fell out is talking about with this Eight of Wands. It talks about free will, right? Because it's an eight, which is related to the eighth house of Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars, which is a planet of will, because it naturally rules Aries as well. The eighth house is ruled by Pluto, which is talking about power and transformation, right? But then it's also Sagittarius, which is talking about wanting to be free of restrictions, you know? And we're trying to break free of the emotional restrictions by way of being creative and taking advantage of opportunities that life gives us to transform us out of those things that held us back. It's kind of like life will give you that energy to transmute, because energy can't be created nor destroyed, it can be transferred. So how are we going to change things for ourselves? Well, take advantage of the opportunities when they come. Otherwise, you may miss out. You might get multiple opportunities. I kind of did. But it says a great deal of activity, sudden and immediate results, important communication. So a call to action, you need to do something, you need to communicate, you need to take care of something. This card is kind of blurry, it's weird. Huh, I never noticed that. Maybe there's a lot of movement, that's why it's blurry. Anyway, yeah, time to move. Time to do the thing that you know that you have to do. Be a warrior. Where is my bracelet? My goodness gracious, I don't know what happened to it. But I'm gonna look for it, and if I don't find it, then I can always replace it, right? Yeah. All right, thanks everyone. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. It's Providence Tarot. My personal account is NYC Kendrick. And if you are not a subscriber, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And if you have subscribed, check to make sure that you still are subscribed. And then if you're not, resubscribe. All right. Bye. Happy Aquarius full moon. Happy Leo season. Be you. Do what makes you happy, as long as it doesn't affect anyone in any sort of like negative way. Yeah. Bye.